Are we live? Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Good evening, everyone. My name is Oliver Levy, CEO of Mindful Parenting Toolkit, and I'm partnering up with Caribbean Canadian Parents United. And with me tonight, we are having um, three panelists with myself, which is Mark, Camille, and Lisa joining us tonight. And we are here talking about Parenting 2.0, but we will be hosting a 7-week online program um, just discussing the 7 spiritual laws for parents. Let me just turn it here so you can see. By Deepak Chopra. So before we get into all that good stuff, let's kind of go into um, the events, what's going to happen, and all of that stuff. So, Caribbean Canadian parents and guardians who are currently raising children are invited to participate in this 7-week program starting July 8th. Before I get into that, all the details, I really want to talk about our Caribbean Canadian identity. So allow me to just talk about that. Camila, if you can have that up. Thank you. Caribbean Canadian identity, people who are native to or descending from Caribbean nations, regions, territories, including their variations by ancestry, ethnicity, and currently reside in Canada, and self-identify as Caribbean Canadian. We represent, serve, and belong in the Caribbean Canadian community. Be deliberate in supporting this soul shared identity in our spaces. Please note, we do not promote racism, colonialism. So on scientific labels such as black, brown, or white are not tolerated in our spaces. Further hate, political, or religious debate are not tolerated in our spaces as well. So I just want to go through that so we know who we are and our Caribbean Canadian community. Before I have a few questions to ask the panelists, those who join me in partnership. Before we go through that, I want to go through the details when it comes to this powerful book. I've read it, I would say 3 times. Now I'm reading it again because it's so powerful, and it is so powerful when it comes to raising successful kids and tapping it into their into themselves. So before we get into that though, starting July 8th, it's a 7-week program. Thursday, 8 to 9:30 is we'll be discussing it. And for those who are joining, you can go to my Instagram or the Mindful Parenting Toolkit Instagram in the bio, or go to our CHM.ca and you can apply there as well. So you can see on the screen there all the details. So a couple of things here. To register for non-members, it's $20, and for members, sorry, it's $20. For non-members, is $30, and it's free for those who are a member of the Caribbean Parents United, Caribbean Canadian Parents United participant. Those are free. And if you haven't purchased the book yet, you can purchase it, but at the same time, you don't have to purchase it, but you can really join us and be part of the conversation. If you really want to purchase it, you can get it on Amazon, and the 7 Spiritual Laws for Parents by Deepak Chopra. What else? So this book is broken down into 7 parts, which I love. It's really unique. All the Deepak Chopra broke down the book in terms of each day like Sunday to Saturday, it's broken down into different activities you can do with your kids that give them a sense of self fulfillment, and they can grow into themselves and be successful. And what we're going to be doing on July 8th onwards is we're gonna really dig into each segment each week. So July 8th, which is Thursday, we'll be talking about the Sunday activity, what you'll be doing on the Sunday activity. And that's it. If I'm missing anything, you guys can jump in and let me know. Camille, Mark, Lisa, before I jump into the questions I want to ask you guys tonight. Anything I'm missing?
I think that was a thorough explanation, Oliver. I think you did great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, question for you guys. Are you guys ready for the question? And for those who are listening and watching as well, you can participate by answering the question if you want to, or let us know if you have any questions and all that stuff. So, first question is, what is one thing that having kids taught you? What is one thing that having kids taught you?
I can start.
Sure.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa. And I would say the one thing that parenting has taught me is patience. Patience.
That's a good one. I like it. That was my answer, but I'll choose something else. I see Mark laughing. Go ahead, Mark. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I was saying Lisa took my answer. So she answered the exact same thing that I was gonna say. Yeah, the kids taught me to be patient. I'll think of another one as well, but just I think it's a combination of kids and the wife. But I used to have a little bit shorter patience with the kids, and it wasn't until it was kind of brought out or pointed out by my wife that hey, you know what, you gotta take some time with them and have a little bit of patience. I don't remember the exact situation, but there was an eye-opening, awakening moment for me where she kind of pointed it out and said, take time with them and kind of be a little bit more patient. And I try to do that now without just getting super upset or angry or anything like that. I try to, just, hey, it is what it is, to kind of let it go and handle it, but handle it in a calm manner. Try to.
Well said. I think I can relate to that as well. Camille?
Man, if I had to narrow it down to one, there's a lot. Good evening, everybody. Thanks to all the viewers tuning in tonight. We're just having a candid parenting conversation tonight, switching gears, talking parenting tonight, as opposed to love. The question on the table right now for the viewers is, what, if you are a parent, what has your child or children taught you? If I had to narrow it down to one, I would say to be accountable. Before you have children, you kind of live for yourself. You don't really think about how your actions impact others. Even if you never have children, our actions impact other people. People that you know, people that you don't know. It has a ripple effect, right? But more so when I became a mother, I realized that literally every decision, every action, every behavior is going to have an impact on them. So that was my biggest lesson. What about you, Oliver?
I'm sorry?
I said, what about you?
What about me? Lesson? I can relate to yours as well. Like most of us, it's hard to narrow it down to one. But if we choose one, slow down. slow down for me. Um, yeah, even when even when they were still young, right? You know, it really teaches you to really stay in the moment, slow down and stay in the moment. And you know, for those who knows our lives, we're busy in terms of sports and all of that stuff. And even with that, you still have to stay in the moment because certain things happen. And I know Mark described a few things, the incident, whether two games, after games, and all that stuff. You have to slow down and stay in the moment. So that's one thing that my kids taught me. All right, that was good. Next one is next question
Before you go to
is
the next question,
yeah.
I'd like to hear Mark. Did Mark have another one? I think he said he was going to come up with a second one because.
Oh yeah,
Lisa
that's right.
Oh, she's putting me under pressure now.
This is interesting.
And
I like the first answer. I'm waiting for the second one.
she wanted more on that from that perspective.
I feel like there's a couple of things, but you know, just children are sponges. So one thing that I've learned as well that you know, I had niece. Well, I have nieces and nephews, and I was a part of, you know, helping to babysit and take care of them at certain points in time. But these things didn't occur to me. It was okay, you know, you're with them for an hour or two, or maybe overnight or whatever, and then they go back home. But you know, when you have your own child, it's a little different to me. Anyway, it was different. And what I've learned is, you know, kids are sponges. They learn, and there isn't necessarily a set time that they need to, or a set age that they need to learn one thing or another. If they're interested in something, they're asking questions, it's really important to take time to explain and go through and teach them, right? Because they want to learn, right? Just an example is today, and I was reading to them, and I'm saying, hey guys, if you guys are tired of me reading, I'll stop. But I'm reading to them about evolution. And you know, I read an article yesterday morning that was really interesting to me, and I know my boys are really interested in that kind of stuff. So I started to read the article to them, and they're just taking it in. And you know, it's funny, my youngest son, who's 9, he's kind of calling out. He called out something in that article before I even read it, right? He's like, hey dad, perhaps, you know, the Neanderthal, or we were talking about like different, because they found this is going to be a little bit long-winded, but they found an actual new skull for a different type of human species from, you know, 300,000 years ago. And they were talking about that, and they said that, you know, perhaps they were interbreeding between different species of human. And then, you know, Avery stopped, and he's like, hey, you know what? Perhaps we can trace back to, you know, these types of humans now in our own existence. And it's something like that from a 9-year-old, like, is a little bit of a deep thought. But then, like, the next paragraph, they were talking about that, which was pretty cool for me anyway. But again, like, they're sponges, they learn, right? And they continually learn. So keep feeding them. That's where I was going.
Love it. And I'm glad you because I mean, you know, you could have just kind of just carry on in the book, but you kind of took some time to really listen to them and let them voice their perspective and opinions and stuff like that, which is, you know, staying in the moment. So that was great. Yeah. Did you have a second one, Camille? No, I'm just joking.
Put it back on there.
Right?
We don't have that kind of time. Yes, to answer your question, yes, I do, but we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I know Camille is busy interacting with the audience. Yes. And for those who are watching, you can answer the question as well, right? Because our kids teach us many Many things. Speaking of teaching, we also teach our kids many things. If you were to put your finger on one thing that you know will serve them for the rest of their life, what would that one thing be? What you taught them? Who wants to go first? What would that one thing be?
One thing that I'm happy I taught my children.
Yes.
Is that what you're asking? Okay.
Yes.
To be compassionate.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Compassionate to others, to the environment, just compassionate people. Everything else you can kind of learn along the way, but having compassion and being kind, that's just a basic for me, a basic fundamental that every person should have.
Which is needed. Yes, I was going to say which is needed. Thank you, Camille. Who's next? We saved Lisa for last. Lisa went first last time.
Uh-oh. So Oliver, we may have to switch this and ask you because I'm still thinking about this one.
I can go.
All right,
I can go.
Okay, I could have gone. Okay, go ahead, Lisa.
I would say to be resilient. To teach them basically follow your dreams and that nothing is too difficult.
Correct. Which is needed as well. Well said. Very needed because guess what, right? In the world, you're going to need that, right? There's going to be lots of ups and downs. And you have to be able to jump over those hurdles and enjoy the ride when you're going up and brace yourself when you're going down, right? So you have to have that mentality. The resiliency is key. For me, while we have Mark thinking, for me, this is recent. Teach my kids, and I think they get it by now because we had an ongoing conversation for like 2 weeks now about they're on this earth, they're in this world for a reason, for a purpose. And I stress it that, that's the most important thing they should be focusing on. Right? And because then, that's where happiness is. Deep down, that's where happiness is. So, and I actually got that from the book that we're about to get into. And so, yeah, that's something recent. And I know they got it because they've been asking me questions relating to that. And yeah, so that's that for me. Did you get your thoughts together, Mark?
I have so many thoughts. It's funny. But yeah, one thing that, and I'm not going to say that I was the one who came up with this, but I think it was more on the Camille side. But, we teach the kids to respect each other and help each other. So, our kids, every parent says their kids are amazing, but I say our kids are amazing in this particular way where, when they wake up in the morning, they don't eat breakfast without making sure everybody's taken care of. So like one person doesn't get up and just get their own, sit down and eat and then leave. They have a routine, which is pretty awesome. And I don't think I would have done this when I was a kid, and I didn't have like my sisters and brothers at that age, but around, that close in age. But they come down, they when they come into the kitchen, they have this routine that they put together. They start putting away dishes from the dishwasher if the dishwasher was on the night before. They clean up the sink. They're doing the dishes. They clean up what's in the sink. Then they get their bowls. They get their spoons. They grab whatever they're doing. If it's cereal, if they're making something, they all work together. And it's like a little machine that I love watching. Right, watching.
I was going to say, is it like assembly line?
Yeah, pretty much, right? And they play off of each other, because if one is, and actually when they first into the living room and the kitchen area, they open all the blinds, right? So they just come down and it's like robotic. Do the blinds, go to the dishwasher, empty that out, wash out what's in the sink. Actually, the biggest one usually does the sink. And then the other ones are getting the bowls and whatever, and they start to get the food and set up the table so that they can eat. And then, if our oldest is still in the sink washing the dishes, they wait and they're like, "Hey, can we eat now?" Right? Like they kind of coordinated, and it's pretty cool to see. So I think that's good, and we've kind of instilled that if they're out, just do not always take care of one another, right? Don't leave and just run off and leave one. All of you have to move together as a pack, right? So that's it.
No, I love it. That means you don't have to teach them teamwork.
Right.
Right? They're teaching each other, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be impacting people around them just by the way they move. And for those who don't know, Mark has how many kids you have, Mark?
We have a team. We have 5. Yeah.
He has a basketball starting 5, a basketball team.
Right. Yeah.
So that's great to have kids like that. So they learn many things automatic without you have to teach them, and that's great. This is the reason why, tying to what Camille said earlier in terms of being what did Camille say? Being kind, right? That goes with what you just explained, their routine, in the kitchen, for example, right? I'm pretty sure their routine probably in the playground or just out and about in a routine. So, that's great. Amazing. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think we're pretty much going to wrap up. This is going to be hopefully a 2-part series. We'll be back on Monday, I believe, just to promote this series, this book discussion series. And I just want to thank everyone for logging in. And if you're watching this on a replay, you can answer the questions if you have to, ask other questions if you want to, and we can go back and forth and interact with each other. And I said, sign up. You do not want to miss this for Caribbean Canadians. You do not want to miss this discussion. This is deep, very impactful. For me, I haven't read I haven't read a book in like 3 times, and I'm planning to read it, 2 more times. So once again, my name is Oliver Levy, CEO of Mindful Parenting Toolkit. And what I do personally, in terms of I coach and empower, enable parents to raise successful kids with fewer frustrations. And yes, it is possible. And so we'll be digging more into that, and Deepak Chopra, the 7 spiritual laws for parents. And any last words for the panelists here before we wrap up? Give me a thumbs up if we have any last words, or you can go ahead, you say a few words, last comments, or anything you guys want to talk about.
I think this was a great starting conversation. I love hearing the different points of view from mothers and fathers and just guardians, anybody raising children. It's such a personal, unique experience. And remember that even as parents, we don't have all the answers, and we're bringing our whole childhood baggage with us into our parenting practices. But what really makes it just such a incredible journey is sharing the stories between the parents. And everybody learns from each other. And that's what Caribbean Canadian Parents United is all about. It's about connecting like-minded Caribbean Canadian parents in a respectful, compassionate space. And that's all we do. We talk about what's working, what's not working. We ask for help. We ask for guidance, or we offer help or offer guidance. And that's the real essence of having a village raising a child. So Oliver, I think that was a great start. We're going to do this, like you said, on Monday again. I think we can wrap up tonight, let everybody get on with their Friday evenings. Stay safe.
Right? Yeah. I love that. Takes a village.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I mean, you can do it in isolation, but isn't it so much better to do it with people that have the same end goal, right? Which is to raise successful Caribbean Canadian children at the end of the day.
Well said. Thank
That's
you.
my 2 cents.
Anyone else? 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents, dollar? Anyone else? All right, I think we're good. Thank you all for watching. Again, like, share, comment, let us know your thoughts, answer the questions, and we're going to see you again on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.